Hi, I'm Dinesh. Welcome to Dharma and Disruption series. We are on episode 3. I want to start off with a question. Have you ever come across a situation where you have built everything was secure, everything was working fine, suddenly things stops working, things get collapsed. It's not because you are incompetent, it's not because you are not putting the effort. It is life. Things just happens. If yes, then this episode is for you. If you have not come across such situations, of course, this is coming along. It is coming to all of us. Today, we are going back to Mahabharata. Today, I'm going to talk about pivot, the real pivot, the pivot which is not discussed in corporate meetings or startup blogs or anything, the real pivot. And we are going to talk about the most honest person, the man with highest integrity, Yudhishthira, whose story is the most relevant for any startup founders, and it is the most fascinating or connecting with pivot. Nobody talks about real pivot. People get into a board meeting, talk about some strategy, and say that, okay, we are pivoting. We are changing the direction. We are going in a new way. That's not how it works. That's not the real pivot. The real pivot starts with a real loss. Something abruptly, you know, stops working. It could be that, let's say, you have built everything for a customer and customer refused to sign a contract. Your co-founder walks away. You made a wrong investment. You made a wrong hire. You are waiting for a big investment and that doesn't happen. These are the big changes. These are the real loss. And that will change the way, you know, you you work. And in this process of breaking, if you pay attention, then something which was also not possible, something which was which becomes possible and it was not possible earlier. And we are talking about Mahabharata today. In Mahabharata, there was a king Yudhishthira who lost everything in a single afternoon. And his story is most fascinating. What happens after losing everything 12 plus 1, 13 years, and how he changed, and how his story is the most relevant and connecting to founders about pivot. Very fascinating. A beautiful sentence, right? The pivot nobody chooses, the one that chooses you. Now Yudhishthira got 12 plus 1 year, 13 years of punishment, 12 years of exile. Whatever he built, his kingdom, everything, wealth, everything he lost. Yudhishthira, with his brothers and with his wife Draupadi, walked out of the kingdom. He went to the forest. This could be a similar situation for our founders, right? You would have built everything, company, success, everything. Maybe one bad call, maybe one bad market situations. It might collapse your business completely. Then you have to start everything from zero. Actually, not from zero, because you are carrying a lot of memories. This is the real story of Yudhishthira, the real pivot. Here is the thing about forest. We think exile is a punishment, but there is something fascinating there. The things changes there. So now look at Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira with his brothers and his wife, they walked into the forest. They are 12 years like, they don't have kingdom, they don't have wealth, they don't have army of people. So he doesn't have anything to protect, anything to defend. He can do things which he was not able to do when he was a king. He started spending time with sages who come to meet him. He discusses with him. He tries to understand the life better. He is going deeper and deeper and getting to become, more and more intelligent, better to handle with situations. And apart from that, he had to go through 1 year of complete, incognito privacy, not showing their identity and things like that. So we founders also go through similar difficult situation that I was talking about in the previous slide. And I knew a founder. Of course, there are several stories. It took 6 years to build a beautiful company. It was working pretty fine. Lot of success, lot of customers. Suddenly some market situation changes. He made some wrong, decisions, and everything collapsed. And almost 6 years, 6 months, I could say that, he patiently understood. He took this as an advantage. He learned, he understood, he learned. And then he developed another company which became very successful. That's about Forrest, right? Forrest made him to learn and became successful. Towards the end of the exile, a very fascinating incident happens. This is something the most talked about incident in the entire Mahabharata. One day, Pandavas were very thirsty. Nakula says he goes and he drinks water and gets the water. He doesn't come back. Next, Sahadeva goes, he doesn't come back. Similarly, Bhima and Arjuna. And Yudhishthira now goes near the lake. He started worrying. All his brothers died near the lake. And one voice comes, Yaksha, the spirit guardian. He says, if you want to drink water, if you want your brothers back, then you must answer all my questions. Yudhishthira agrees. Yaksha asks lot of questions, all deep philosophical question. Yudhishthira answers all the questions. And one last question, Yaksha Yudhishthira. What is the greatest wonder in the world? What is the greatest wonder in the world? Yudhishthira answers calmly. Every day thousands of people die. We see thousands of people die around us. Till every man deep in his heart believes that he will not die. He will live forever. This is the greatest wonder in the world. We see, right? We see a lot of people dying around us. We go to funeral, but still, shockingly, we associate ourselves so much towards identity, reputation, wealth, and things like that, as if we will never lose these things and we will never die. Let's say you build a company, everything is successful, and suddenly something fails. We get shocked. Why? Because we think that we are secured, everything is permanent, we will never lose them. So that is the irony. And the love moment I could say in this is that whether Yudhishthira would have answered this question if he had not gone to exile, maybe yes, but he would have answered intellectually or theoretically. But since he was in exile, since he went through this pivot, he could answer this question very calm, very practically, because he that experience, he learned that. So that's why forest gives clarity. And Yudhishthira found clarity in the forest. Only exile made this answer possible. That is the lesson from Yudhishthira. The pivot is not a business event, is not just a business event, it's a personal event. When you go through such a situation, you don't just change your business strategy, you change the way you understand. Your understanding gets changed. The people who go through such a situation become totally different kind of people. They are better grounded. When situations get hard, they don't get panic. They answer or respond it, you know, with a calmness. That's what forest does. Yudhishthira comes back from the forest. He faces the war. He wins the war. He wins the war. Not because that he is cleverer or he has become cleverer, not because he had a better strategy, but because he's been through this process. That personality has changed and he is worthy of winning. That is the real pivot. That is the real change. The forest is not the end of the story. I want to leave you with that thought today. You may be going through some hardship, either could be in the business or could be on a professional career. You are in the forest. Don't worry, that is not the end of the story. Forest will not kill you. Forest is not the end of the story. Forest will take you to the place where you're supposed to go. Yudhishthira came back from forest. He gained back whatever he had lost, maybe more than what he had. Not because the world changed, but he changed. That is the promise inside every difficult pivot. I want to request one thing. Somebody in your friend circle, somebody in your family, maybe inside the forest, they may be going through hardship, difficult situations. So they are in the forest. Share this video not as an advice, more as a story. It is going to tell them that harvest is not the end. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. See you soon with the fourth episode. Till then, thank you.